The morning sun filtered through the buildings of downtown Chicago as Daniel made his way toward his interview. Dressed in his only decent shirt and tie, he clutched a folder containing his carefully printed resume. This was the opportunity he had been waiting for, an engineering position at a respected tech company. After months of rejection emails and unreturned calls, he had finally secured an interview. His palms were sweaty, and his heart thudded with a mix of nerves and excitement. He glanced at his phone, 25 minutes left to make it on time. He weaved through the crowd, ignoring the noise of the city around him. His thoughts raced through potential questions, answers, and how he'd explain the gaps in his resume. As he neared the building, just a block away, he saw a woman struggling by the side of the road. Her grocery bags had split open, and apples, papers, and bottles scattered across the pavement. A few people looked, but didn't stop. Daniel slowed down. Every second counted if he wanted to make the interview on time, but he couldn't walk away. She was clearly overwhelmed. Without another thought, he ran over to her. "Do you need help?" he asked quickly. She nodded, clearly flustered. "I tripped. Everything's everywhere." He knelt down and helped gather her items, even stopping traffic to retrieve a can that had rolled into the street. She looked surprised and grateful as he stacked the items into a new bag she found in her purse. "You didn't have to stop," she said, breathless. "You're dressed like you're going somewhere important." Daniel smiled awkwardly. "I've got an interview." But this seemed more important in the moment. They walked to her car together, a sleek black vehicle parked near the curb. She popped the trunk and he placed the items inside. "You saved my day," she said, brushing back her hair. "What's your name?" He held up his resume folder with a nervous chuckle. "Daniel Harper." Her eyes caught the name. "Nice to meet you, Daniel." She paused for a moment, then said thoughtfully, "Not many people would have done what you just did." Daniel shrugged, trying to appear humble. "My mom raised me to help when I can." She gave him a warm smile and got into her car. As she pulled away, Daniel looked at his phone. He had 5 minutes to spare, but he was still 2 blocks away. He sprinted toward the building, dodging pedestrians. Bursting through the doors, he reached the front desk gasping for air. "I have an interview with CCI Tech. Engineering Department. The receptionist looked at the clock and frowned sympathetically. "I'm really sorry, sir. They wrapped up 15 minutes ago." They were on a tight schedule. He tried explaining what had happened, but it didn't matter. She offered to keep his resume and wished him luck. Daniel stepped back outside, shoulders sagging. The adrenaline from earlier had drained out, leaving behind disappointment and self-doubt. He leaned against a lamppost and watched the cars pass by, wondering if helping that stranger had cost him his one real shot. But deep down, even through the frustration, he didn't regret it. Something told him he'd made the right choice, even if it didn't feel like it at that moment. He walked home slowly, resume still in hand, unaware that fate had already started to shift in his favor. The next morning, Daniel was making coffee in his cramped apartment when his phone buzzed. Unknown number. He almost ignored it, assuming it was a spam call, but something told him to pick up. "Hello?" He answered cautiously. "Mr. Harper?" A calm, confident voice responded. "Yes, this is Daniel. This is Amanda Wells, CEO of CCI Tech. I believe we met yesterday under different circumstances." Daniel froze, the coffee nearly spilling from his cup. "The woman with the groceries?" he said in disbelief. "That was you?" She laughed softly. "Yes, I was on my way back from a team retreat, dressed down and unrecognizable." Daniel was stunned. "I had no idea." "I know," she said kindly. "That's part of what impressed me. You didn't help because I was someone important. You helped because it was the right thing to do. He blinked, trying to make sense of it all. I didn't even make it to the interview. I know, she said again, her tone warm, which is why I'm calling. I'd like you to come in tomorrow. Not for an interview, for onboarding. Daniel's jaw dropped. You're offering me the job? I'm offering you a chance. We can train skills, Daniel, but we can't teach character. Asterisk. The next day, Daniel arrived at CCI Tech's modern campus, this time with a genuine smile on his face. The receptionist greeted him like they'd met before. He was guided through a tour of the facility, introduced to the team, and handed a badge that read Engineering Associate. His cubicle was small, but to him it felt like a palace. As he settled in, Amanda passed by. She stopped, leaned in, and said, "Welcome aboard. I don't forget the people who show up when it matters." He thanked her again, still trying to believe everything that was happening. Asterisk weeks passed quickly. Daniel poured his energy into every project. He stayed late, asked questions, and quickly became known as reliable and sharp. One afternoon, while grabbing lunch in the break room, a senior developer asked how he'd gotten hired. Daniel shrugged modestly. I missed the interview but picked up some groceries instead. The room laughed, but Amanda, standing by the coffee machine, nodded proudly. And that gentleman is why he's here. Her confidence in him pushed Daniel even harder. He began leading parts of their new software rollout and earned the respect of the entire team. Asterisk on his third month, Daniel got his first full paycheck. He stared at the amount in disbelief, then walked straight to the florist across from the company. He bought a bouquet of Lily, his mother's favorite. That evening, he visited her grave. Got the job, Mom, he whispered. And I didn't even have to compromise who you raised me to be. A breeze rustled the grass as if in reply. He stood there in silence, feeling peace wash over him. He wasn't just succeeding. He was doing it the right way, with kindness and integrity as his foundation. Asterisk, the story of Daniel's unexpected hire slowly circulated through CCI Tech and beyond, inspiring others. Amanda even mentioned it in a keynote speech at a national tech conference. In a world chasing results, never underestimate the power of empathy, she said. Daniel watched from the audience, humbled. He had once feared missing his interview would close every door. Instead, it had opened the right one, not just to a career, but to purpose. He smiled quietly to himself, grateful that in one small moment of kindness, everything had changed. Asterisk.